Hi, I'm Ryan Joseph Long, and you're watching my YouTube channel. I'm here to share my story and possibly reach out for your stories and advice because I'm quitting being a lacto-ovo vegetarian. So on that note, I think there are two main reasons why people become vegans and or vegetarians, and that is morality and health. And I was actually doing this for morality because I was discovering through online articles that many animals are very intelligent, and through behavioral studies and cognitive studies of these animals, that they're a little bit more complex and intelligent than we think them to be. And I wanted to do the right thing. So in the 2 years that I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, I really only messed up 4 times. One time it was chicken-based broth. The other time, typically they were just communication errors. I think only once was when there were really no other options. But over those 2 years, I started gaining weight immediately and very quickly. And those are for three reasons. So we're going to talk about those three reasons that were ultimately a major cause of why I quit being a vegetarian. Reason number one: the vegetarian diet can be very high in gluten, starch, and carbs. And we all know that carbs are our first source of energy for our body to burn. And so I wasn't allowing my body to burn fat and protein like a normal sort of diet would work. Reason number two: it was a bit more expensive to afford various items, and the shopping experience and the cooking experience and the meal prep experience was just a little more complicated. I had to season things a little more. It was a whole learning curve. It was expensive, and it was timely, and it was tasking. Ultimately, due to how laborious the meal prep was for me, I often was without a prepped meal, and I would start snacking, and it's just so easy as a vegetarian to pick up a bag of chips that is veggies. Reason number three: it was hard for me to feel full. And most often, people contribute that to not getting enough protein. And this caused me to binge a little bit more than I would have on a meat based diet. And ultimately, I started searching for those foods that had more protein, like dairy, like cheese, and the fats. And I think it's just when your body's starved of a certain macronutrient, it sends off a response that it wants more. And this just caused me, without having a proper balanced diet, which I found hard for me to do personally. um, I just kept eating and eating, and the vegetarian diet just did not provide me with the feeling of fullness that I get from a meat diet. And this just led me to binge on cheese and sour cream and all those things that are high in fat, that again led to this excessive gain of weight. So let me summarize these things for you. I was eating mostly a high carb diet, and the meal prep was difficult, so I often turned to junk food. And due to the fact that I could not feel full, I continued to eat larger and larger portions and turned to things like cheese and guacamole and other sources that were high in fat and protein to feel that feeling of fullness, to feel full. And it wasn't until I felt full that I stopped eating. So I often overate. And the thing that woke me up was when I finally looked down and saw stretch marks on my stomach, which was kind of sad because that was not something I ever thought I'd ever deal with in my life. And those won't go away. Those will be stuck with me for the rest of my life. Stretch marks on the belly are just not cool. And I'll always have those no matter how fit I become. I'll always have, and I regret it. I just feel extremely terrible and embarrassed about how poorly I pursued the vegetarian diet. And if you feel as though you can do it well, more power to you. If you've done it well, please let me know. Again, I'm reaching out for your stories and your advice because ultimately I would like to be a vegetarian, aspiring vegan. I aspire to be a vegan. And I think at my heaviest, I was 250 pounds. Right now, I'm around 245. I just can't believe the damage this has done to my health. And when you lean forward for something and you feel like your stomach is about to blow out, or you feel pains from your organs being crushed as you crunch, that's a sign that something's wrong. When the stomach feels like it's going to blow out like a tire, it was just all the carbs and the binge eating and sometimes the junk food that I would snack on to get through this vegetarian diet, and I just couldn't do it the right way, and I tried several times. I want you to know that this was a really tough decision for me because I would like to see future where the lion lay with the lamb. And I believe that. I believe that we could all be herbivores and not consume. But at the same time, at this time in my life, I've started believing in necessary sacrifices. And it's just not possible to exist without sacrifice. When a tree grows tall, it casts a shadow. And when there are many trees in the forest, the grass does not grow. And when I observe myself, our footprint will exist irregardless. And there are ways certainly to downsize that footprint and control that footprint. There's just nothing exists without sacrifice, and it could be that it's meant to be that way, and it's just tough for me to really decide. So I would like you to know that I am only going back to eating chicken. When I look back on my life when I was most fit, I was eating mainly chicken. Many of the most extreme athletes eat only chicken. I have a friend who works in bodybuilding aesthetics, and he's amazing looking and muscular and skinny in the waist, all because of chicken. And chicken is truly just like the well kept secret as to being healthy. And so I will be going back to mostly chicken. And I sort of I get theoretical with it. You know, I believe in evolution, and I believe that we were once fish that crawled up onto land. And we know that pigs are very anatomically close to human beings. You know, at what point did we start eating meat? Were we meant to? Were we supposed to? Uh, is sacrifice a part of life? Are we meant to eat meat that once might have been our ancestors, and still are? And I I would like your knowledge on this. If you're really serious with this, if you're a scientist, if you're religious, whoever you are, if you could comment in this section below, I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions about eating meat and whether or not it is moral, or whether or not we can go through life with or without sacrifices. So if you can provide me with some good advice, I will definitely go back to being a vegetarian or vegan. It was just really difficult for me, and the meal prep was difficult, and so I will be going back to eating chicken for this year, and I plan on making a weight loss video. Right now I'm roughly 250, 245, and I plan on documenting this. So my New Year's resolution is just like many others, and that is to lose weight this year. So thank you for watching. Please feel free to check out my other videos, leave a like, and subscribe.